kind of tilt it forward, trying to get the reflection. Oh, there you go. And tilt it more directly towards the camera. Yeah, there you go. Make sure your fingertips are like touching those little squares there. So like, can you hold it like on the very tips at the ends? Yeah, so it won't cover those squares. Yeah. So what this does is it's helps me set the colors.
Ah, nice.
So I matched colors to the chips that are on there, and I know
That's awesome.
got a little new thing.
And
Yeah.
so I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I've read a little Dutch history of Netherlands, but not our arrival here.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So we all gathered here today. So tell me about this past year and you helping out with Kids Hope, and particularly how you guys were able to help out in the fires.
Okay. So Kids Hope is in its 19th year at Christian Assembly, and we have been working in the community for those years. In January, we were not back in school yet, and we knew that the fires had started. But we received 56 students after the fires between the two schools where we have Kids Hope programs, which are Eagle Rock Elementary and Delavan Drive. So we knew a number of families that were displaced by the fires that are just students now being absorbed at our new campuses. When I first learned about the fires, I also was evacuating and got a call from a member of our church who is connected to several of our former Kids Hope students. She let me know that they were displaced and she wasn't sure what had happened. But the student is an alumni because they had graduated from Kids Hope and were actually adults. So I got a message from Rebecca Schubert, who is our kids church pastor at CA, letting me know that her former student's home had been burned in the fire. That student's aunt attends CA. Her name is Susie, and the fires happened, I think, on a Thursday, and Susie came to find Rebecca in kids church to let her know that her niece and nephew had lost their home because Becca had been connected to them. Becca then reached out to me, let me know that Sammy had lost her home and they were kind of couch surfing. And I went and met with them, sort of tried to assess what their needs were. Sammy was very nonchalant in some ways, like, yeah, we lost our home, but what I'm really disappointed about is I just lost my first car and I had worked so hard to purchase it. CA had a list that Scott Quay had put together from different people offering things in the CA community. So I looked on that list to see if anyone was offering a car, and there was a person who had an extra car that he was willing to give to a fire survivor. I reached out to him. Let me think about what his name was. Maybe it doesn't matter.
Yeah, don't worry.
Okay. I reached out to this person in our CA community that had an available car. He said he would be happy to give it to our former Kids Hope student. So they met up. She loved it. She named the car Jehovah Jireh because she felt like the Lord had provided for her in this time of need. And that made it so that she could be able to work. Even though her family was moving from home to home, they were living with some siblings who had one-bedroom apartments and just kind of couch surfing. On the list that Scott Quay had put together, I also noticed several people were offering housing, both temporary and some more permanent. So I reached out to the folks on the list who had offered their homes, and Derek Gaddies, who attends the Saturday night service, had a home in Altadena that he was willing to let someone live in for a month or 3 months or however long they needed. So we reached out to Derek, and he was very willing to let this family move in. I reached out to Sammy and her mom, and they were ecstatic that they could move back to Altadena after having just been displaced from Altadena and kind of gather the items they needed for life, everything from clothes to shoes to furniture, and kind of leave on their own terms if they had to move outside of the area. So I contacted our Kids Hope mentors. I asked them if they had any furniture items to donate, and we created basically a spreadsheet with photos so that Sammy's family could be empowered to choose what they wanted. They didn't just have to accept secondhand whatever was available, but did they want a dining room table? Did they want a queen bed or a full-size bed or bunk beds or whatever? And so through that process, our mentors basically donated all the furniture that they needed for this new home. And even the Kids Hope director from La Crescenta reached out to me. She had some lamps that she wanted to donate and a footstool and some other furniture. So it was really beautiful to see the Kids Hope community really rally around Sammy and her family during this time of being displaced. And it wasn't super strategic, but it was just beautiful to watch God provide exactly what they needed. We also created an Amazon wish list and let them add what they wanted, like paper towels or, kitchen gadgets, anything that they might need and or want, because we felt like they needed to have some agency in what types of things were going to replace what they lost. And so we circulated the Amazon wish list through our Kids Hope networks, and everything on that list was purchased for their family. So they had 3 months in Derek's home to recover, kind of get settled, reoriented. There was a woman from CA who works for FEMA that met with them and helped them get their paperwork in order. So even though our program is essentially a mentoring program at our local elementary school, to see how our longevity within the community created this pipeline of care, this network of resources for a family when this need hit, was really, it inspired me. I feel like I'm part of this community, but to watch our mentors and our church community rally around this family was so beautiful, and for God to provide for all their needs. And so what was really amazing to me is after Sammy and her family kind of got settled this summer, she reached out to me and she said, "Sarah, Kids Hope has been here for me at every difficult moment in my life, and I want to give back." And so she asked me if it would be possible for her to be a mentor. So I interviewed her. She went through our training programs, and this fall I matched her with a little 4th grader named Patricia. So to see Sammy, who was in the program for 5 years, I met Sammy in 2010 when she was in 1st grade. Her little brother Christopher was in kindergarten, and her older sister was a 4th grader. So to have known this family for 15 years and see how 15 years ago God was putting the pieces in place for us to be able to support them during the Eaton fire isn't something you could anticipate or plan for, but really inspiring and beautiful to watch God through our church community and through Kids Hope come alongside them, and for her to be moved to give back. Another cool thing about Sammy's family is even when she was in Kids Hope, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, their family was always a family that wanted to give back. So Sammy and her mom would come to church on Saturdays and pack lunches for Skid Row. So even though they couldn't serve in Skid Row because they were minors, they were actively involved in giving to that ministry when they were in Kids Hope. And so it's not a surprise in a way to have Sammy be involved as a mentor, because she has always been a kind of person that wants to give back. And she's a great mentor. She comes prepared. She's super fun, encouraging, and it's just been so beautiful to see that come full circle.
That was great. One question.
I know, right?
Let me double click down on something you said though, and I'm looking for something. I mean, you said it already, but
Sure,
let's
yeah.
get another version of
Yeah.
it. But uh, so I thought Kids Hope was a mentor program.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you feel compelled to go outside of that main mission to reach your, or is it, you know what I'm trying to say? Is it
Yeah.
important? Is that part of
Yeah.
the mission of Kids Hope to meet those needs in the community, or
Great
it
question.
just the situation was kind of extreme? So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Kids Hope is a school-based mentoring program, so that's the bread and butter of the program. But we are a relational ministry at our core, and relationships don't fit neatly into timetables and grade levels and graduations. So even though we were actively running a mentoring program during the Eaton Fire at 2 schools, once we realized a member of our own community was impacted, we couldn't help but mobilize. And I think that's just the heart of who we are as an organization, who we are as a church at Christian Assembly, that we're not just there to run a program, but that we're there to build relationships. And those relationships often continue on into adulthood and beyond, not in the 1 hour once a week that we have at the school, but in moments of crisis or in moments of need, we can really show up and mobilize our people to show up and provide that tangible care that says, not just with words that God cares about you, but can show up with a bed and a dresser and school supplies and other needs that families have that go far beyond that 1 hour in the mentoring classroom.
awesome, great.
I know I'm too wordy, but you can cut it off.
Yeah, we're gonna cut it right. So what do you think? What do you think the impact was on Sammy and her family?
Just with the fires or in general?
Well, no. As we know, the fires are devastating, but I guess the impact that Kids Hope has had on their family and getting them through this crisis.
Okay. I'm going to circle back because I feel like I'll tie it in.
Okay.
But I first met Sammy in 2010, so 15 years ago, when she was a little first grader, bubbly, excited, happy little girl. Her brother was in kindergarten and her older sister was in 3rd or 4th grade at the time. And I know for them as a family, they really appreciated that regular 1 hour once a week that our volunteers were investing. Each of those mentors stayed with that student until they graduated from 6th grade at Eagle Rock Elementary. So we have a history of long-term relationship with their family. And I feel like when the fires happened, it was just an extension of that long-term commitment to this family, that in this time of need, they were important to us. They weren't just graduates from the past or alumni, but they're people that are part of our church community, and we want to show up and care for them. Initially, Sammy's mom was very overwhelmed with all of the needs, but also with the support. It was difficult for her to know what she needed or to think about, oh, I don't have pajamas or I don't have a rain jacket, until it was raining and she would recognize like, oh, I lost that in the fire too. Partly because they were having to move every few days and couch surf with a number of relatives. Their life was just very unstable immediately following the fires. And so giving them kind of a permanent place to land was on the top of our list to help stabilize them, to assess for their other needs. And so when we found this home for them to live in for 3 months, and we gave them the keys after there was a whole group from Kids Hope, the mentors and prayer partners that came and cleaned the home from top to bottom so that the person donating this space didn't have to purchase or pay someone to clean it. Our volunteers did. And Sammy was actually the first one to arrive at the home. The mother was actually at an estate sale with Ken and Marilee Herman, who were donating any furniture from their family estate sale that they might need for the home. So she was with them picking out sort of the last few things that she needed to furnish this home. So Sammy arrived and got really excited because there was a garage that she could park her new car in, and new to her car in. And her mom arrived about maybe 3 minutes later. Sammy and I were standing out in front of the home, and she just burst into tears and was so relieved that she didn't have to figure out that piece of the puzzle. And then when she walked inside and it had all been furnished, the people who donated the furniture and the refrigerator and the laundry, they all dropped them off during the day. And it was just sort of like this seamless, beautiful work of the kingdom to watch all of it come together. We didn't have like 6 twin beds. We had 2 twin beds and a queen-size bed, and just exactly what they needed was donated. And I know it took so much of a weight off of her shoulders to feel like she didn't have to source those items, didn't have to figure out how to get them to her place. And so I felt like those tears of relief were also just a sense of deep gratitude for our church community and the Kids Hope community that rose to the occasion and were there for them once again when they needed support.
Awesome.
I guess I didn't use her mom's name is Amy, but I didn't really use her
Is
name.
Amy coming, or is just Sammy?
It's just Sammy.
Just Sammy, okay. Okay, so how would you want to wrap this up and close it? Are you asking, what are we doing? I mean, the purpose of the video,
Really, the purpose is to show
Just to
that Kids
highlight.
Hope is beyond 1 hour once a week mentoring.
Okay.
That we are sort of there for
Are
the
you
long
speaking
haul.
directly to CA to perhaps they're more looking for more volunteers, or
Yeah, we
you wanna
are.
do something, say something like that, or at the end, or
I guess I feel like I might do that from the pulpit
oh, okay,
so that
gotcha.
it doesn't have to
Something
be
pop up,
in the video itself,
Right,
because
right.
I feel like the story.
The story.
There are a couple pieces of the story that probably are too many details, but
Yeah.
I would love even to ask Rebecca about it,
Okay.
because Sammy and Rebecca hadn't been in contact for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they would kind of ebb and flow. And
Wait a minute, how does Rebecca play into this?
she was Sammy's mentor.
Mentor, okay.
Yeah. So for 1st through 6th grade, for those 5
okay,
years, she
okay.
mentored Sammy.
Okay.
And that's how we reconnected with them once the fires happened.
That's right, so she reached out.
Yeah, Sammy's aunt,
Right.
Susie,
Right.
started attending CA when the kids got enrolled in Kids Hope. So she's been a part of our church community. Sammy and her family were part of our community when the kids were in Kids Hope, but then they moved to Altadena for middle and high school. So they kind of moved out of the community and away from the church. But over Christmas break, right before the fires, CJ is Sammy's brother. Rebecca was at Vaughn's and he works in the meat department there. And she was like, "Is this CJ?" So she was like, "By any chance, do you have a sister named Samantha?" And he was like, "Yeah, you were her mentor, right? In Kids Hope." And she's like, "Do you happen to have a current number for her?" So over Christmas break, CJ gave Rebecca Sammy's number. She was going to reach out, but it was the holidays.
Okay, we'll get there. We'll
Okay.
get Becca to tell that,
Great.
that story, and how that connection happened. What I was thinking about is for you, was there anything as a closing, as a wrap that you want to say, or this is the story? I was thinking, because this is celebrate. Well, we're going to be doing that for 20th. Looking forward for 20th. But no, I think we got it, because I think you're right. It's just a matter of you want to tell that Kids Hope is more than just a after-school mentor.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really, that's what we need to do. Yeah, we need to. I need to have like a short, succinct thing. So to say, Kids Hope is more than just a mentoring program after school. We really love to get into the whole lives of our kids and the community and really make a change or something like that.
Okay.
Okay. Sometimes I'm looking for something that's going to be, 30 seconds.
Okay.
45 seconds or something like that.
All right. Let me try a couple of different
Yeah,
versions.
try to
So,
just riff off of
Yeah.
it. We'll just keep going.
okay. So Kids Hope is not just 1 hour once a week mentoring, because it's relational at its core. We build these relationships over time so that we can be there for our families, even if their kids are grown. That's our commitment to this community for the long haul.
Awesome.
Let's
I
see.
like that. Let's do one more.
Okay.
Mhm.
So hopefully you can see that Kids Hope goes beyond the 1 hour once a week mentoring into the lives and long-term relationships with families in our community here in Eagle Rock. We want to be there as an extension of God's love, no matter when the moment is needed, no matter when crisis hits. We can be there for our families as an expression of God's love and heart and care for them. That was a little bit wandery, so.
No, that was good. I like the. Let's do one more. And you're talking to me.
Okay.
Because again, you're gonna hop up to kind of give the direct appeal to see
Mm-hmm.
that. Right? So we don't need to get that. So I think to keep this video more kind of evergreen, kind of, you don't have to be so on the nose. But so let's just restate that again. So it's like Kids Hope is more than mentoring.
Okay.
It's more than, an hour a day, hour a week,
Mm-hmm.
But it's meant to really change. I liked it. We can tie in a point about the reason why we stick with kids throughout,
Mm-hmm.
not just a year, but
Yeah.
we like to follow them because we
Yeah.
want to see that change
Mm-hmm.
in their life to affect their, something like that. I
Okay,
was thinking.
sure.
Because
Okay.
I'm trying to just differentiate between what Kids Hope does and just any other after-school program. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just
yep.
like, it's not just the activities. We're actually, sharing God's love, and then to really see change.
Yeah.
In their family, and to really share that love on a really deep and personal level, and just follow, the ups and downs.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You gotta get up. Just
Right,
riff.
right.
You're good at that.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
riff. That's
Okay.
what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Uh,
Kids Hope is more than mentoring. It's a commitment relationally for the long haul. Let me try that again. That was a little mixed. Kids Hope is more than mentoring just 1 hour once a week. It is a long-term relationship built over time that is an expression of God's love and care for these families. And that care transforms lives. Our motto with Kids Hope is you can change a life, and that's no small change. And we have seen that over and over in kids like Sammy and hundreds of other kids in our community here in Eagle Rock.
Nailed it. You nailed it.
It's a good coaching.
You're good at this. All right. Is there anything else you think you want to cover? Because we're going to hit, the video.
Yeah.
So we're going to hit it with Becca's angle, and then Sammy, because really the story's going to be told through
Yeah.
Sammy, and just.
And I feel like too, if we have to cut something, I would rather feature their story because I will be up in front and can say some of that. But yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I think I was thinking about just using you more as just kind of like to frame it and put it in more
Yeah.
context, but
Like a little narrator.
the fact that you are actually going to be up there, not as needed.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I will, kind of focus on
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca. So, all right, I think you're
Fantastic.
done. Can you
Yay.